Fate of the Furious 2017 film, the eighth and so far last installment of the series. The first one done without Paul Walker after his death during the shooting of the seventh one. So the story here is that Vin Diesel is once again enjoying his retirement, and then along comes someone to drag him back in. This time that someone is Charlize Theron's character, super hacker Cypher, who's the villain of the film, and she blackmails Vin to go against his gang. When they, together with The Rock, are executing a heist to steal a powerful EMP machine or device, or whatever you want to call it, Vin ends up backstabbing The Rock and taking the device for Cypher. Her organization then begins to assemble some other components of some other world-ending gizmo because, of course, they have to end the world, while the family tries to stop them. But to match Vin Diesel, they will require an unlikely ally, and this ally is none other than Jason Statham, the villain of the previous film. And honestly, Statham was my favorite part of the movie, and specifically all of his interactions with The Rock. This time around, he himself is given much more to do, much more screen time, much more dialogue, and the banter between those two is just delicious. I mean, it's like a combination of the 80s machos talking one-liners at each other and a trash talk between two 12-year-olds playing Call of Duty. This just goes on non-stop whenever they're on the screen together. And I was smiling all the way through. What I also liked about it is how it doesn't really give any fucks anymore, and it just goes all out on those ridiculous, outrageous, big set pieces. It has almost nothing to do with racing now. It's basically Avengers in cars. Only Avengers seem to be more grounded and realistic, actually. So in this entry we get stuff like Vin Diesel driving a burning car backwards to win a race in Cuba, Jason Statham using a winged suit to a la Marvel's Falcon to board a flying plane, Charlize Theron remotely controlling hundreds of cars on the streets of New York, and finally the gang racing a nuclear submarine in an iced up harbor in Russia. It's bonkers. It's completely insane. It's off the rails. But it makes it work. I think the action is the best in the series so far, and the dialogue is silly but funny, the chemistry between characters is good, and it has excellent pacing, never gets boring. The key thing here is again the fact that the movie simply embraces all the insanity and stupidity. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and so neither did I, or the rest of the audience, I imagine. There is zero depth to pretty much anything here, but just the sheer size of spectacle makes up for it. I never thought I'd say this, but I really liked Fate of the Furious. I think it's genuinely good at what it does, and I am now really giddy and excited about the upcoming spin-off movie with The Rock and Statham. Although, admittedly, there is that little shade of relief in the back of my head that I finally caught up with the series and can now watch something maybe a little more clever, which shouldn't be that difficult to find.